17%, 39%, 13%, 66%, and 32%. These may just seem like numbers or percentages, but I assure you it's much more serious than that. 17% of the world's adult population, ages 18 to 29, are obese. 39% of the world population for adults are overweight. 13% of the overall adult population around the world is obese. 66% of Americans are overweight, and 32% of Americans are obese. Obesity is defined as having large or excess amounts of body fat and having a BMI score, or body mass index score, of 30% or higher. Today, if you haven't already guessed, I will be talking about obesity and how it is a major problem. The causes of obesity and impact it has on health conditions will be discussed, and concluding will be alternatives to help get the epidemic back under control. Obesity is defined, or spread out into 3 classes based on BMI scores. The first is obese, which is just having a BMI score of 30 to 34.9%. The second is severe obesity, which is 35% to 39.9%. And lastly is morbid obesity, which is 40% or higher. There are several causes to obesity, the first being a high caloric intake. If you're ingesting more calories than your body can burn off in a day, it's inevitable you're going to gain weight. Then there's poor eating choices. Foods that have high amounts of carbs and fats in them are good in moderation, but if you're ingesting too much of them, the body is only able to digest and use so much. So once you hit that point, it's just going to start storing the fat, not so much the carbs, but more so the fat. And then there's high amounts of salt and sugar, which can cause bloating and excessive weight gains. And processed and fast foods, especially in America, we choose to eat at a fast food restaurant such as McDonald's instead of doing a home-cooked meal, which not only gives you more calories in one meal, but provides you with less nutrients. Individuals who have low incomes can't afford to buy as much healthy food as people who make higher incomes, which deviates them to buy the processed food because it's the cheapest. And processed food contains many preservatives to prevent it from expiring as quickly. And the main preservative is salt, which causes bloating, as I had said, and large weight gains in a small period of time. Smaller communities usually lack grocery stores with high selections of healthy foods or fresh produce, but there's a high selection of processed food, which again isn't good for you. And the larger selections of fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins can be more difficult to find and are deemed to be less common. Sedentary lifestyles or non-exercise lifestyles, the individuals that choose to lead this lifestyle will eat on average 500 to 800 more calories each day than needed in order to maintain their weight. We often eat because we're stressed, bored, or have nothing better to do. I know, for one, I'm guilty of this. When I get bored, I'm not necessarily hungry, but I'll go eat a few chips or something like that. And I think we're all guilty of it at one point or another, but the difference is people with sedentary lifestyles often overdo it, and they'll eat more each day than needed to maintain weight, which results in weight gain. Impact of obesity on one's health. So obesity can have an impact on several health conditions, including diabetes, which is due to high amounts of glucose, a fancy word for sugar, being ingested or in the bloodstream due to unhealthy eating choices. Then high blood pressure is also a symptom that's not as bad, but it can lead to more serious conditions such as cardiovascular disease, which is the hardening or narrowing of the arteries due to plaque and fat buildup, and that can lead to heart failure or heart attacks due to blockage of blood flow. Then there's musculoskeletal conditions, which when you're adding all that weight to your body, it's producing more pressure, or more pressure is being exerted on the joints, and that's causing pain, and it produces most oftentimes osteoarthritis, which is inflammation or swelling of the bony joints. So why doesn't dieting alone, or changing your eating habits alone, or exercising alone work? Why do you need to do both? Well, dieting alone, just reducing the number of calories, doesn't significantly impact your weight because cravings come into play, and if one caves on those cravings, it's hard to get back to that healthier lifestyle. Exercising alone is not enough to reduce weight because individuals don't understand how many calories need to be burned in a workout in order to continue to keep the weight off and lose the weight. We see success stories about individuals losing massive amounts of weight due to Jenny Craig, dieting pills, diet supplements, or even The Biggest Loser. But this doesn't work for the majority of Americans. If it did, we'd all be a whole lot skinnier and around the world, and obesity rates wouldn't have doubled since the 1980s. Exercise alone can help with many things such as mental and mood disorders, diabetes, heart disease, and many more conditions. But it can't help with weight loss alone, or at least by itself, according to nutritionist and author Timothy Caulfield. If you think exercise is enough without changing your eating choices to reduce weight, you will fail. A combination of exercising and dieting will change the outlook of obesity. This is successful because it comes down to caloric intake versus output. If you reduce the number of calories you're ingesting as well as add in exercise, you will see weight loss results. This is because you're burning out more calories each day than the body is consuming. To reduce this obesity epidemic and change the outlook of it, start small. Instead of eating that candy bar or that bag of chips, go instead for a more healthy alternative that not only provides more nutrients, less calories, and longer lasting energy, but it provides a healthier, it's just healthier for you, which is something such as an apple or an orange. And on top of that, try adding in 30 minutes of exercise each day, even if it's just something as little as going on a walk, because you will see results if you're willing to put in the work. The biggest excuse why individuals are not doing this is because they're too busy throughout the day, or they say they are. But though they may think this is true, I don't think this is true. I think they either lack the energy or they're just too lazy to put the time in. And changing those snacking habits by eating snacks that provide longer lasting energy will help you to either wake up and go in the morning before work or go after work and do some exercise. Choosing to eat healthier will give you more energy, as I had said, and it will also help you not only physically but mentally and emotionally as well. If you don't see the results you want, take another look at what you're ingesting, because 80% of the battle comes from what you eat when dealing with weight loss. Obesity is an epidemic that affects many citizens across the world, especially in the US, and it shouldn't be taken lightly because it can cause a variety of health problems, including diabetes, cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, osteoarthritis, and so much more. The cause of obesity, as previously discussed, comes from many things, but the two main ones seem to be poor eating choices and living a sedentary lifestyle. If you choose to eat healthy and exercise, you will see results. I urge you to take a small step and eat healthier with exercise, or along with exercising. If you do this, you will see results, and your health will thank you in the long run. And we can get this obesity epidemic back under control.